Alright, so today, algebra, we're going to be learning about functions. Functions are pretty easy, but you need to know them because that's basically what we're going to be dealing with to the end of the year. So, function. Definitions. Coordinate plane is formed by the intersection of two perpendicular number lines called axes. So, in other words, we have two lines. They form a cross. And those two lines are called axes because they're also number lines. So one is like a normal number line you would normally see, and the other one goes straight up and down. The origin is where they intersect, right in the middle. Some more definition. The ordered pair. You already know what an ordered pair is. Remember the pumpkin project from 7th grade pre-AP? You had to graph all those ordered pairs to form the pumpkin. Well, that's what this is. Ordered pair consists of an x and a y coordinate, and it is written x first, then y. Remember, x first, then y. It's always like that. It's just like the alphabet, x, then y. Quadrants. Quadrants, there are four of them, and they're formed by the other things that we've talked about. So they're formed by the axes and the origin. They create four different spots, planes, that are called quadrants. So let me show you. Here's quadrant, here's a quadrant, here's a quadrant, here's a quadrant, and here's a quadrant. This is quadrant 1, so we put Q1. This one's quadrant 2, so we put Q2. Roman numerals, Q3. That looks like, there you go. And then Q4, which is going to be really hard to do. There, Q4. Alright, there's our four quadrants. Now, they're formed by the two axes. Right here and right here. This one is the x-axis and this one's the y. It will always be like that. X is always flat like a normal number line, and y is next, it goes vertical. So on the y-axis, you see how all the positives go up and all the negatives go down, just like you would think they would. On the number line, the x-axis, the regular number line, positives are right, negatives are left. So if you look at the quadrants, their first quadrant is all positives. The third quadrant are all negatives. The second and the fourth are positive and negatives. Just some things you need to remember. Alright, let's go on. Oh wait, let's go do an ordered pair. One thing about an ordered pair is this. You always, when you graph, you always label your x and y. And then when you do an ordered pair, let's say we're doing this one right here. This ordered pair has an x and a y value. The x value you count over from the origin. 0, 1, 2, 3. So x is 3. Remember, x always goes first. And then you do up 1. Because we went to the right 3, the positive side, and up 1, the positive side for y, it's 3, 1. Now if we did something like over here, that would be negative 9 for x and negative 3 for y. But you should already know how to do that. So let's go on. Definitions, more. I think this is the last two. Input and output. When you input something into an equation or a function, you get something back. So the value when you substitute it in for x to generate a value for y. It's what you're plugging in for x to get an answer back. So if I said pizzas, they cost $2 a piece plus $3 delivery fee. What if you order 4 pizzas? The 4 would be the input. So you do 4 times 2, which is $8, plus the $3 delivery charge, which is 11. And 11 is considered the output. It's the total amount that you owe, or the end value. It is generated by that value of x. All right, here's an example. Now I got this one out of Holt book. So this is by the Holt book, Teacher's Edition, Algebra 1. It says art application. A caricature artist charges his clients a $5 setup fee. So I'm going to automatically do $5. Plus, so I'm going to write down plus $10 for every person. So 10 for every person in a picture. So I'm going to put person, P for person. Write a rule for the artist's fee. So I pretty much already wrote it. It's right here. All I've got to do is equal it to something. And I'm going to equal it to artist fee. So I'm going to put fee. Or F. Doesn't matter. If I was going to rewrite this in X and Y terminology, I would put my input is X and my output is Y. So let's figure out which one's input. If it says write an ordered pair for the artist's fee when there are 1, 2, 3, and 4 people. So what am I inputting? I'm inputting the number of people, right? So really, this should read 5 plus 10 X equals Y. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to input a 1 for 10. 1 for X. There we go, a 1 for X. And I'm going to solve it. 10 times 1 is 10, plus 5 is 15. So 15 equals Y. So my output now is Y. Now if I was going to write an ordered pair, I would put X first, what represented X, the 1, and what represented the Y, 15. So an ordered pair for this is 1, 15. So let's do this again with 2. If I do it with 2, I'll have 10 times 2 is 20. 20 plus 5 is 25. So my output is 25. The next thing I want 3 and 4. So let's check it out. I want you to try to do this by yourself and see if you get the same thing I do. So you should get 35, and then you should get 45. Now later on we're going to talk about linearity, which means is it linear? You notice how there's a trend. These are all going up by plus 1 each time, and these are all going up by plus 10 each time. That makes it linear because they have a pattern in which they go up. And we're going to talk about that later. But right now, I just want you to know how to actually plug things in as inputs and get things back as outputs. So let's try one more example and graph it. So we have 4x minus 3. What I would like to do is I'm going to set up kind of like a table first. I'm going to do negative 1, 0, 1, 2. Alright, that 0 looks pretty bad, so let me try it again. It still looks bad. But anyway. So we have negative 1, 0, 1, 2. And I'm going to substitute those in for x. So I'm going to do y equals... Here, let me do this real fast. Alright, so I've got all my equations, all my functions set up with the negative 1, 0, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. Basically, I plugged in all my x values for x. So now I'm going to solve them. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4, minus 3 is negative 7. 4 times 0 is 0, minus 3 is negative 3. 4 times 1 is 4, minus 3 is 1. 4 times 2 is 8, 8 minus 3 is 5. Alright, so now we have our x's and our y's. So let's go on to the next one. Here I have a table And it's really important when you're doing these, you're making a table. So I'm going to make a table real fast. This is -7. This is -3, 1, and 5. Alright. Out of this table, I can come up with ordered pairs. I have -1, -7, 0, -3, and 1, 1, 2, 5. So now we can graph it. -1, -7 would be -1, down 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So here's a dot. And then we have negative or 0, -3. So 0 for x, -3 for y. Right here. 1, 1. And 2, 5. So now we can draw a line straight through these, or at least pretty close to it. And that's our graph. And it created a line. And that's pretty much all we're going to be doing, and I'll show you the rest in class. The end.